It's 8:37. Good morning. It's a Bob Schmidt Show on today's Talk 1490. You know, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and I, like everybody else in America at that time, really enjoyed watching Happy Days and watching the Fonz and watching Richie Cunningham and watching Mrs. C from Happy Days. Marion Ross joining me now. Marion wrote the book My Days Happy and Otherwise. Marion, thank you much for spending time with me this morning. I do appreciate it.
Well, I love talking to you. This is fun for me.
So you were born in Minnesota. So about I had to Google where it was that you're from, and I did.
Well, I'm from Albert Lee. You know where Albert Lee is?
Yeah, Albert. Okay, because it says here Watertown, Minnesota, but Albert Lee. Yeah, I know exactly where Albert Lee is.
I was born in Watertown, but I grew up in Albert Lee.
Really? Okay.
So,
wonderful. So that was actually my very first radio job was in Mason City. So I grew up in the Twin Cities, and I used to drive through Albert Lee in order to get down to Mason City.
Right. It's about 100 miles south of Minneapolis.
Right.
Built around a lake, so it was a lovely childhood.
So do you get much time to get back to the Midwest, Marion?
I tried to go back to Albert Lee because they named the theater after me, a stage theater, has about 125 people, and my sister was living there quite a while. She's moved now, but it's, and I plan to go back this summer. I'll go back this summer and see everybody.
Right. Now, when you go to different places, do people yell out Mrs. C when you walk into a place?
Well, it's getting to be a long time ago until they're told who I am, but I look pretty good.
The last few times that I've seen you on television, I'm like, to me, you haven't aged. You haven't aged at all.
Well, I'm 89. I can't believe that. I keep telling myself so.
I read that in your bio that you're 89 years old. Did you ever think that you would still, that you'd still be in kind of in the business by doing interviews and stuff at 89?
Oh yes, I did, because I was very driven. Yes.
What drives a young lady from the Midwest to be somebody that everybody knows?
Well, I have two reasons. First of all, my mother was a Canadian from Upper Saskatchewan, and she was Irish, and so I was raised on you gotta go somewhere, and get somewhere, and be somebody. And the second thing is that my brother, who was like 18 months younger than me, was a crippled boy. And then I was the second little girl. So I'm the middle child. I think about this a lot. I think I was the middle child with a crippled brother, and I didn't get a lot of attention unless I was so cute. And so, they would say, during World War II, there would be sad stories about the war, and they'd say, oh, look at Marion. And tears would be running down my face, about these stories, about the war. Uh-huh. So I've been acting forever.
So, growing up with a mom from Canada, did you ever eat poutine at the house? French fries with the gravy and all that?
Did we what? I didn't understand you. Did we what?
There's a Canadian dish called poutine. It's French fries and gravy and cheese curds and things like that. Was that ever a staple around your household when you're growing up?
No, I don't know that dish. I don't know that. No.
Okay. What? And as a middle child, were you the hellion of the family then too?
I think I had a lot, and I was canny. I was kind of like a liar, know? So I would somehow get what I needed. Yeah. I think I was an artful little child.
Was that what drove you into acting?
Oh, I think so. I think I started acting around the family probably right off the bat, It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
In fact, I don't think I was honest. I think I was canny and aware of the effect I could have on people.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that something? Did you think that at such an early age?
Yeah, but I think people understand their their strengths at an early age, and maybe you were able to play to it, and that kind of drove you to your passion of acting.
Yes, I could get what I wanted and what I needed,
Right. The book is called My Days, Happy and Otherwise. Were happy days? Were they some of your happiest days?
Well, they certainly were, excepting that when I got to be 40, I got divorced. I'd been such a hotshot, going to be somebody, and then to have it all kind of hit the wall when I was 40. So then along came Happy Days and saved me, and rescued me,
And when I was reading your bio, you've done a lot of things besides just Happy Days.
Oh yes, well I was under contract to Paramount Studios by the time I was 22 years old, and now in my later years I look back and I think, wow, that was pretty good. Wow.
So how did you get that contract at 22?
Well, I wanted to be an actress from the time I was about 13, and just really concentrated on what I was going to be. Then in college, when I was 20, I ran off and eloped. No, I was 21. I ran off and eloped in college, and a woman at San Diego State College, where I went to school, came and saw me in all the plays and everything. So now I ran off and eloped. She took me up to Hollywood, and that was the beginning of how I became a professional.
Wow!
This woman just took me under her wing and became my agent.
That's pretty cool. Was that so? It's kind of a dream come true. You kind of lived your dream then, Marion.
Well, I did. I always was single-minded about what I wanted to be. I had a lot of drive.
What would people learn about you in your book?
Well, I think there's many fun chapters about the whole Happy Days time, and that's fun to read that. And then I have a wonderful chapter. I don't know if you're familiar with the British playwright Noel Coward. Are you familiar with him?
I am not.
Not so much, I bet. Not at all. He's very famous, yes. Well, anyway, in Hollywood, I did a show called The Blithe Spirit with Lauren Bacall and Claudette Colbert, and Noel Coward himself is very famous, and that's in the book. So I did a lot of live television in the early years because I was a stage actor.
Right.
So it's a fun career, and you can see lists of shows I did. I just did hundreds of TV shows, and
did you have
my children are very nice. Do you know that? My daughter Ellen is a writer-producer on Friends, of all things, and you know the show Friends.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And now she's just finished completion of a new pilot for ABC that she's writing and producing. So that's my daughter Ellen. And my son Jim, let me tell you about my son Jim. Jim Meskimen, you can see him in a commercial that's just maybe still running. He plays George Washington in a boat being dragged across the freeway.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I remember that commercial. Yeah.
Right. So that's for Geico. I think it's for Geico. So that's my son Jim, and my children are wonderful. Yeah.
That's excellent. What about your television children? Do you ever have a chance to talk with?
We're very close. We're very, very close. We just recently had a party. Ron Howard and his daughter Bryce had just had a big double birthday party, and we were all there. And the George Lucas was there, and all those friends of Ron Howard. So we're very close. And isn't that nice? Henry Winkler is such a good friend. Take me to lunch sometimes, and we just have a good time.
Did you think that his character, the Fonz, was going to be the breakout character of the show?
No, startled everybody, and he startled Ron. I mean, Henry walked off with that show in his pocket, you know. But he was a great guy, and whatever Henry got, Ron got too in his contract. It was 50-50 all the way. So it's been an extraordinary. And then in the book you will read that we had a softball team. You know? Did you know that?
I did not know that. What position did you play?
I played rover. You know what that is?
In
the infield.
In
softball.
Okay. Were you a good player?
And yes, I was. Yes, I was. I couldn't hit really great, but I couldn't field really great, but I could hit, and then I could get on first base, and then the boys could get me in, you know.
Right.
So, and we played softball before major league ball games all over the United States. And then we went to the East German border and played with the U.S. infantry. Can you believe that? In Germany, up in Gettelstadt, up in the mountains where Hitler came from. So we played softball there. And then when the whole Happy Days was over completely, the very next morning, we all got on a plane and flew to Okinawa and played softball with the U.S. Marines.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe my life?
That's pretty cool. If you weren't able to be an actress, Marion, what would you have done?
Well, what would I be? I think I would like to remodel houses. You know, I like that a lot.
Right.
I like to look at something and I say, let's tear the wall out of this and let's just change all this. Yeah, I like that.
I posted on Facebook that I was going to be talking with you. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions that some of my listeners has? Okay, Kurt asked the question, if there was a remake of Happy Days, what modern day actor would you like to see play Mrs. Cunningham?
Playing who?
Who would you like to see play you on Happy Days if they were to remake it?
What a funny question. Well, I don't know. We couldn't have it. We just couldn't have it. No.
Do you think
it would have to be this funny old person me? Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Do you think that the innocence of Happy Days would play on today's television?
Interesting. That's a really good question. It was a simpler time, I must say. Yeah. I must say, it's still in reruns, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Do you see?
I suppose now Mrs. C would smoke, you know, and she would certainly drive. She'd drive, and
right.
She might have to go to the shrink, you know, things like that.
So, do you have a favorite line from the television show, Marion?
I don't know, other than telling to Howard, "Oh, Howard, sit on it." Yeah.
Could you do me a favor? My name is Bob. Could you say "sit on it, Bob"?
Oh, sit on it, Bob.
Oh, Marion, I love that. Hey, why did you drop the A? Why did you drop the second A from your name?
Oh, it didn't look good with the R, with the ROSS. I thought, oh, that's not going to look good on the marquee. You know, I'm like about 13, so you're thinking, no, let's change that. Yeah.
What did your parents say? What did your parents say about that at the time?
Oh, they were so busy. You know, having this crippled brother, that changed the dynamic in the family. So in a way, I didn't get a lot of attention. That's why I had to be so cute in order to get any attention at all.
Well, Marion, I'm going to say this: you're still pulling off the cute and you're pulling off the beauty. That's for sure. How do we get the book? How do we find the book? My Days, Happy and Otherwise.
Well, you can get it on Amazon.com and then Barnes and Noble. But Amazon, you can get it, and you'll enjoy it because I've got pictures in there of me and Cary Grant, and me and Clark Gable, and you know. There's
a picture of there's a lot of pictures there. That's really Wonderful. What was your favorite memory as an actress?
I have so many. What a long list of things. And I went to Broadway with Jose Ferrer and did a play, and did Steel Magnolias with a bunch of ladies. We all went to Broadway, and we toured. And Gene Stapleton and I toured Arsenic and Old Lace. So I love being on the stage. I did a series called Brooklyn Bridge, which you never saw. And you can find it somewhere, I'm sure. Brooklyn Bridge. I played a Jewish Polish grandmother, if you can believe that. And I loved that part. I loved that.
Really?
I would say to my husband, take me to Cantor's Deli. I want to go down, take me down here to this deli. I want to sop up. I'm just watch these people. Sop this up. I love becoming somebody else.
And you get to play dress up every day. You get paid to dress up. That, to me, that's fantastic. Final question. Yes. What's the biggest misperception of you, Marion?
I think they probably sense that I'm pretty much like what you see, because I'm an awfully nice person. You know that? I just can't help it. I'm just a really, really nice person. So it's not much of a surprise.
I think that's the Minnesota nice, right?
I think the interesting thing is the kind of tenacity. You know, if you want to become an actress in Hollywood, boy, you got to be able to hang in there. Also, what I did when I was like about 25 years old, I hired a press agent. I always treated this like a business. You know, it was like, wait a minute, I see how this is played. Oh, this is all bought and sold. Yeah.
Kind of a commodity, huh?
You bet.
Do you have a favorite episode of Happy Days?
Well, I think where I danced the tango with the Fonz, and we won a dance contest. It made Howard so mad because he didn't know where I was going every night for the dance rehearsal. You know?
Right. Was he frisky?
Oh yes, then he would be frisky when I would come home. Yeah. Right.
And then you know what? Marion, I do appreciate your time today. I really do. The book is called My Days, Happy and Otherwise by Marion Ross. You can find it on Amazon. Thank you very much for joining me today, and good luck with the book sales, okay?
Thank you, darling.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and I appreciate your time. It's 8:55. It's the Bob Schmidt Show on today's Talk 1490. Thanks a lot for joining us.